You know, it's too bad we don't have honest reporting about January 6th, what took place January 6th, the so-called insurrection, which was not an insurrection. Let me ask you a question. Estimates of 300,000 to 800,000 people at that protest. If there was to be an insurrection, don't you think that the 300 to 800,000 people will have been armed and literally overwhelmed the Capitol building in a bigger way than it was overwhelmed? Of course. People didn't go there for an insurrection. They didn't go there for a riot. Everybody knows this, but it doesn't matter. The narrative's out there because it's to attack Trump and his people. We finally have one federal district judge who's acknowledged that you're charging somebody with felonies who was waved into the Capitol building. And you're charging other people with misdemeanors for parading and trespassing. And then you're saying that they were interfering with a vote, but some of them were waved into the Capitol building. There's something about these videotapes the government is releasing very sparingly. And it seems to me the American people have a right to know exactly what's in all these videotapes so we can pass judgment on these prosecutions and these judges and what's taking place. But one did get out. I want you to take a look at this new January 6th video. It shows Capitol Police welcoming protesters through the terrace doors. Now, if they're doing that, you can't be charged even with a minor misdemeanor, parading or trespassing. You're being waved through the doors. And these people are getting caught up in these prosecutions. Go.
The following footage was obtained from the United States Department of Justice. It contains surveillance video of the Upper West Terrace doors of the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Just after 2:33 p.m., police officers allow 5 individuals to exit the Capitol through the Upper West Terrace doors. At 2:34 p.m., a gentleman holding an American flag catches the door just as the last protester leaves. He turns to the crowd outside and waves towards the door. At the same time, at 2:34 p.m., a gentleman with a red cap approaches the interior doors. As the police officer notices him, he continues to approach. The police officer holds the door for the protester as he enters the Capitol undeterred. At 2:35 p.m., a large group enters the interior of the Capitol, police standing at the doors. As a steady stream of protesters enter through the Upper West Terrace doors, they can see police officers standing at the interior doors, allowing people to pass. Around 250 protesters entered through the Upper West Terrace doors that day, many of which are charged with felony obstruction for entering a building undiscouraged. At 2:36 p.m., a police officer walks towards the exit against the flow of protesters. He then turns around and begins walking with the protesters. He turned his back to them and never took a posture that was defensive or that would indicate that he feared being harmed. At 2:36:54, the police allow the crowd to pass. At 2:38 p.m., a woman with a sock hat and a camera with a sound recording device attached to it, films police as they allow people to enter. A steady stream of individuals pass by police as they stand aside without deterring protesters for several minutes.
You notice these people aren't violent in any way. Some of them chat with the cops here and there.
At 2:40 p.m., police stopped the protesters to speak to them again. At 2:44 p.m., a police officer in the bottom of the screen can be seen speaking to the officers in front of him and pulling them away, indicating to the crowd that they are allowed to enter. The officers then turn their backs to the crowd, which indicate that they did not possess fear of the protesters. The officers then escort the crowd into the interior of the Capitol.
Perhaps this is why they won't release all the video.
At 2:47 p.m., police wearing yellow gear closed the doors. Police presence then increases and no more individuals enter through the Upper West Terrace doors.
Okay. A number of those people are being charged with trying to prevent the vote from taking place, from the electoral votes, with parading and trespass, among other things. Now, this is really appalling, don't you think? And that's why I wanted to show it to you. All the videos should be released. What I just showed you, as best I can tell, has not been shown on CNN or MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS. It's not been shown to the American people, except to you and people on the internet, I suppose. And this is the sort of thing that's presented in court. People are being pressed to plead guilty to various offenses because they don't have the money or the time to deal with these trials, or they're in jail and they want to get out. One gentleman just last week or earlier this week had decided to enter into a plea agreement and then withdrew after a federal judge finally ruled that in one case, he said, how can you charge somebody with criminal trespass and parading and trying to prevent a vote when the police are waving the individual in? So the judge threw it out. This is the first case in which a federal district judge in Washington, D.C. threw one of those cases out. The first one. The first one. Now, you can see yourself getting caught up in this, right? I mean, I can see myself. Not that I would, but I can see it. If people are marching in, you're 30 people back, and the police don't care, and the doors are open, or they're waving you in, and maybe you want to see what's going on. Now you're going to be charged with crimes? I'm not talking about people violently attacking the cops or breaking windows or breaking through the doors. We know that's a different group. I'm talking about this group, and I'm talking about the vast majority of people. So this is something that, unfortunately, justice does not seem like it's going to prevail.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.